Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Wednesday, March 29. I am Abigail Smythe. Before we get into the news, please like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and your friends.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. Jamaica received the first batch of animals under the government's Small Ruminant Development Program on Monday. A total of 50 goats, including the Boer, Nubian, and Kiko breeds, arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport and were received by Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. Minister Charles says the goats' genetic superiority is intended to change the prospect of small ruminants for Jamaica.
We are developing industries in agriculture, and the effort is for us to build stronger genetics to expand in terms of production and multiplication and breeding capacity, and to ultimately be able to have the strongest goat and sheep so we have higher yield in terms of meat production and ultimately revenue for our farmers. This is an important part of our research and development program as well. So these 50 goats are going to be housed at our facility and used for breeding so that the offspring can be sold to farmers and that the semen can be used to create a bank for insemination.
The minister notes that this is an enormous positive for the agricultural sector and will have several benefits to farmers who have been yearning for higher quality and genetics that will allow for faster breeding as well as greater yield in meat and milk.
We also are looking forward to expanding the industries in Jamaica. So we're looking towards cottage industry, so the goat milk and the goat cheese, and other things that will be value added to provide more money for our farmers and our investors.
Minister Charles notes that in an effort to reduce incidents of predial larceny, the goats are already tagged and traceable. He says the ministry began the process to import some 180 small ruminants from the United States in 2022. The remaining shipment is expected to be delivered sometime this year and includes 140 goats and 40 sheep. Jamaica is a net importer of sheep and goat meat, satisfying approximately 80% of local demand. The minister says a total of 6,000 animals will be imported over the next 3 years. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says he hopes the introduction of animal therapy in medical care will serve as a trend setter. The program will introduce animal therapy to patients as a means of helping them recover from the mental toll of the hospital environment. The initiative will receive assistance from Hope Zoo, Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, JSPCA, and the Montego Bay Animal Haven. Dr. Tufton says staff at the hospital have seen success in the initial therapy tests conducted with a golden retriever named Teddy. He says these results validate the ministry's efforts to relieve medical stress using holistic methods. The health minister was speaking Tuesday morning at the launch of the Animal Assisted Recovery and Care AARC program at the Bustamante Children's Hospital. The National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, is on alert for the presence of the illegal drug methamphetamine or meth in Jamaica. The use of similar psychoactive substances have been increasing in the region. Research analyst at the NCDA, Yuki Atkinson, says the patterns of drug use are changing, with pills becoming more popular among adolescents and young adults. Last week, Barbados confirmed the presence of meth on the island, and their health authorities warned members of the public to avoid the drug at all costs, since it can lead to death. Methamphetamine, or crystal meth, is a potent central nervous system stimulant, mainly used as a recreational drug and less commonly as a second-line treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and obesity. The drug has a number of street names, including ice and glass. It resembles shiny rocks or fragments of glass of varying sizes. Ms. Atkinson says while the NCDA has not heard of any case of meth use in Jamaica, it is only a matter of time since the use of psychoactive substances, which include a range of synthetic chemicals, has been increasing in the region over the last few years. She also notes that some of the psychoactive drugs, including MDMA, which is Molly or ecstasy, are being mixed with other substances that are also harmful to public health. Ms. Atkinson says the use of MDMA or Molly is still prevalent in Jamaica and is warning especially young people to be careful of being drugged. She states that with the help of regional and international partners, Jamaica is developing an early warning system to test and detect psychoactive drugs as soon as they are introduced to the market. She adds that the NCDA is hopeful that legislation to govern the sale and use of Molly will be enacted shortly. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, has served the death penalty notice against the man charged with raping and murdering 9-year-old Nikita Noel. Omar Green, the stepfather of Nikita, is charged for the offenses of rape and murder. The incident is alleged to have happened on February 1 in the community of Kew in Hanover. Green had been in an intimate relationship with Nikita's mother. In a statement on Tuesday, the ODPP said that after careful consideration of the circumstances of the case and the public interest, it has deemed it appropriate for the death penalty notice to be prepared and served. The matter has been set for mention on July 3 in the Hanover Circuit Court for the case file to be completed. A psychiatric evaluation report is to be submitted on Green's behalf. 2 taxi operators were shot, one fatally by unknown assailants at a Texaco gas station at the intersection of Malines and Waltham Park Roads in St. Andrew Tuesday evening. The circumstances leading to the incident are still unclear. However, the police's corporate communication unit confirmed the incident, adding that the second taxi operator turned up at hospital with gunshot wounds shortly after his colleague was pronounced dead. This is reportedly the 11th taxi operator murdered this year. Detectives from the St. Andrew Central Police Division are investigating the incident. A St. Anne teen is now in custody following the stabbing death of a man in Claremont Tuesday night. The deceased has been identified as 58-year-old Desmond Smith, otherwise called Bandic, of Coulthart Grove District in Claremont. The police report that around 10:30 p.m., Smith got into an altercation with the teen. During the altercation, Smith was allegedly stabbed by the teen. Smith was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead, and the teen subsequently arrested by the police. The family and friends of 24-year-old Vado Samuels, who was shot and killed by the police at a wake in Mount Pleasant, Hanover on Sunday, are demanding justice. Reports are that around 4 o'clock Sunday morning, the police went to a location in Mount Pleasant to shut down an illegal wake. During the operation, a confrontation took place between Samuels and the police, and Samuels was shot. Samuels is the uncle of the man for whom the wake was being held. However, a friend of Samuels, who claims to have been an eyewitness, says by the time the police arrived, the wake had ended. He says a dispute developed between Samuels and one of 3 policemen, and the policeman slapped Samuels in the face. Samuels is alleged to have retaliated, using a bottle to strike the policeman in the head. The man says another policeman intervened, shooting Samuels several times, after which the police left without providing assistance to Samuels. He says a pregnant woman who was vending at the wake used her vehicle to transport Samuels to the Noel Holmes Hospital. Samuels died while receiving treatment. The police reported that one of their own received a gunshot wound to the hand. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom says no illegal gun was taken from the scene. More than 30 people carried out a peaceful protest in front of the Texaco gas station in Lucy on Tuesday. The family is calling for intervention from the Prime Minister. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is reporting that there has been a decrease in serious crimes during the first quarter of the year. Their latest data show that as at March 25, there was a 22% decrease in reported violent crimes compared to the corresponding period last year. Murders and shootings showed the highest decrease of 20% and 14% respectively. There were 280 recorded murders as at March 25. Rape showed a decrease of 50%, while aggravated assault declined by 13%. According to the JCF, crimes such as robberies and break-ins decreased by 21%. The JCF says not only have they increased police presence and patrols in high-crime areas, but also implemented new community policing programs. A bill to transition Jamaica to a republic is expected to be brought to the Parliament in the upcoming legislative year. Legal Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Ford gave the update in Parliament on Tuesday. Minister Malahoo Ford says the work of the recently named Constitutional Reform Committee is proceeding quickly. Concerns were raised about the composition of the 14-member committee, which comprises 11 lawyers. However, the minister stressed the important role legal minds play in such a body. She says various subcommittees will include a wider pool of stakeholders. In business, Chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, Keith Duncan, says the local economy could face even slower growth than programmed as larger economies face various economic challenges. Mr. Duncan says decreased spending on leisure by people in the key tourism source markets could also have a negative effect on Jamaica's economy. Multilateral agencies have programmed slower global growth, with the International Monetary Fund expecting global gross domestic product expansion by less than 3% this year. And for foreign exchange, the Canadian dollar's buying rate is $110.30 and the selling rate is $111.36. The euro's buying rate is $156.67 while the selling rate is $165.63. The Great Britain pound is being bought at $182.70 and selling at $186.74. The US dollar is being bought at $149.94 and selling at $151.88. In the region, the Barbados government will be injecting close to $7 million into the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, CBC. Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrahams told Parliament on Tuesday that the money is to allow the state-owned enterprise to honor its debts, including the payment of salaries. Abrahams said it had been highly publicized that CBC's board and management met with Barbados Workers' Union in February and agreed that salary increments due to the staff would be honored. On the international scene, according to Goldman Sachs economists, as many as 300 million full-time jobs around the world could be automated in some way by the newest wave of artificial intelligence, AI. This includes chatbot sensation ChatGPT that has taken the world by storm. They predicted in a report on Sunday that 18% of work globally could be computerized, with the effects felt more deeply in advanced economies than emerging markets. They say that's partly because white-collar workers are seen to be more at risk than manual laborers. Administrative workers and lawyers are expected to be most affected compared to the little effect seen on physically demanding or outdoor occupations such as construction and repair work. In the United States and Europe, approximately two-thirds of current jobs are exposed to some degree of AI automation, and the bank estimates that up to a quarter of all work could be done by AI completely. The economists say if generative artificial intelligence delivers on its promised capabilities, the labor market could face significant disruption. And in sports, Jamaican Rovman Powell tasted success in his first series as West Indies T20 captain as the regional side defeated South Africa in the third and final match at the Wanderers in Johannesburg on Tuesday. West Indies won by 7 runs. Batting first, the West Indies piled up 224 8 from their 20 overs. South Africa were restricted to 213 for 6. The match ended the tour for the Windies, who lost the Test series 2-0 and drew the ODI series 1 apiece. And that's it for your news roundup for today. Please remember to like this video, leave a comment, and share the video with your family and your friends. I am Abigail Smythe. Have a good evening and see you next time.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Like the video before you go. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And remember to share the video with your friends and family. And browse the channel for more quality content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them!